Hi, my name's Michael Crawford. I'm your training instructor for this demonstration. Today we're going to cover reporting. So the Steel Designer Pro's reporting process is pretty simple. Once you've consolidated your items in your project, whether it be in the project or your zone, go to Documents, go to Generate Reports. You want to collect the data. Now this data is being collected from what's in your model, not from the database. And now you can see the information that's come in. This data has been added to a SQL database table on your local PC. And that data can be collected by the reports. Alternatively, if you just wanted to grab the information that's in here and export it out to Excel, you can by using the Excel link. If you even grab and sort by column headers, you can put all your fasteners into one area, or your plates into one area, your sections, and your vendor items into one area. So this actually collects everything. You sort by mark, and now you can see that plate 1, section 1, and you can see that it's collected all the components, not just a single mark. We have in our interface set up our default location for our report templates, which are typical. So if you look at the headers, you can see just underneath there's a grouping description, reports total. So if I wanted a total materials list or a total fastener schedule, I can get that out of there. If I wanted to group them, I can get a materials list grouped by its mark number, or a material list where it's being used by its mark number, and same for fasteners. If I wanted an item list of everything that's single by itself, we can go here and create those two, fastener or materials list. If you don't like our reports, and if you want to create your own reports, we have a custom report tool. The custom report tool is quite extensive. I won't get into too much detail on this training session, but I'll just teach you where the reports are. You may have to sit and fiddle, but I will cover some of them, so some of the basics, so that you can understand how that works. So if we just wanted to create a fastener schedule for the project, here comes our fastener schedule, and in this case there's only 4 M16s that I've put into the job. Now if I wanted to, I can save this out into an Excel spreadsheet. You can export it to Excel and then go in and modify any information that you want on that report. Our default reports come with our logo, so you might not want that. You might want to save this in Excel, save it as a PDF, or you might want to create your own reports. So obviously that's our fasteners, and then we have our total materials list report. Same thing applies with that. Any report that comes out we can save into Excel. We can do a fasteners where used. So in this particular case our fasteners are in the project level. If they were in a welded member level or a connection level, it will tell you which welded member that belongs to. If you wanted to find out where your materials lists are used and what welded member they belong to, you can see that it's grouped it by its mark, the size of the plate in this case, the description, and then it's told me that that plate is at the project level. And you can see here for the 200 PFCs, we can see that 2 of them were used in beam 1, beam 3 and beam 4 for that section mark, and likewise all the way through. Some people request to put these on drawings, but I've worked on projects where you can't get a drawing big enough to put a table on them. So a report like this is very handy to have off to the side. And of course, if I wanted a materials list on one-on-one, I can do that. That's each section and plate one by one in the job. If I was to group just the materials list, which is similar to a where is used materials list, except that it's not telling you where it belongs. It's telling you that in section 1 these are sections and this is all the information associated to the 200 PFC. And that's a grouping report. If we go over to custom reports, this is our custom report builder. Our custom report builder allows you to build all kinds of reports. I'm going to show you where, and we covered this in the very first training session of where our application files are kept. I'm going to show you where the reports are kept. You go C program files, CAD Craftsman, Steel Designer Pro, and then reports. The reports are in here. So if I was to go and grab my reports list totals for my sections, I could load that in, and this is what the report creation tool looks like. I would suggest that you don't change our reports. I would suggest if you wanted to create your own reports, you use your own reports and put them into your library location so that you can use them over and over again and you know where they are. To change a report, it's similar to the way, if you're familiar with Microsoft's database access, you can change all sorts of things in here. You can move things up or down, change the header location, you can change the footer and details associated with the footer. The information that's being displayed in this instance has been put together using a data source, and that data source has been collected from our database. So when we clicked on collect data in that interface, the data was pushed into the database for us to collect this information. If I was to now go over and do a preview, you will notice that the preview does not show up, but you need to go down to the bottom left hand corner and click on nothing and then click OK, or cancel, sorry, and then you will see your report. Reports can be created using wizards. There's a new report wizard here. You can create a blank report or create one from a new report wizard. The new report wizard allows you to be able to select which source you're going to pull it from. So we're going to go data bound report. It's going to come from a database. There's already a SQL Server, but we're going to specify the database that is in the system. The authentication type is Windows Authentication. The server name is localhost. That needs to change, and the database needs to change because the local host is SDP. Now if you don't click on anything, you'll get this message. It means that you may have accidentally not put the right information in, but we need to do that. And I wanted to show you what would happen if you don't. So under the local host, we need to rename this. It starts with a dot backslash in capitals SDP underscore SQL Express. When you click on the database pull down, you should get, I've accidentally made a mistake. I can see it right here. It should be /, and then when you click on the database, it'll pull up the database that you need, and that's Steel Designer Pro. And then you can click next. Now we're going to create a query which allows us to collect the information associated to the database. So run query builder. We want to click on the BOM. Now we can create reports from any data within our database. Be mindful that there's a lot of data that you can collect from, a lot of tables that we can source from. So in this instance we've got the BOM. That's the one we need to select because that's where the bill of materials data has been placed, and we can select all the information that is in that. So to collect the data from that BOM, we select the BOM and we hold the mouse button down for the left and we drag and drop into this box here. So this now has collected all the fields that are part of that database table. So we might want to only show certain things. So we might want to put in model type, might want to do a mark, a description, a length, the weight, surface area, the grade, the treatment, and obviously the quantity. We might not want to do a where used, we might want to put the component instance in there, but that's generally not the case. And now that we've got this query over here on the left hand side, this query accesses the database information to help us produce a table. There are settings over here for grouping, so if we wanted to group by a particular item, we could click it and go group. I'm not going to do that in this demonstration. We click OK, and now we've got ourselves a query. If we click next, it's going to ask us which fields we want to display in the report. We can select the whole lot, click next. Now if we wanted to group by multiple groups, so we can pick an item that we want to group by. So if I wanted to group by mark, I can add group, and then it will group the report to group by the mark. Then click next. How do we want to display it? Do we want it in a column or a tab or a justified setup? I prefer landscape or portrait, either way, it depends on how your data is to be displayed. Click next. You can change the way that it's going to create a template for you, and then you can click next. Give it a report name. I'm going to call it say cut list. Yeah, I'll spell that right. Cut list, and then finish. So this will generate a basic report. As you can see, it's taken the parameters that I've assigned to the report designer. And under the Report Explorer, there are other things that you can do. On the left hand side there are labels and all sorts of things, pictures, shapes that you can add, even a table of contents. If you want to see your report, obviously go down to the left hand side, click nothing, and then hit cancel, and this is what the report has generated. If you want to move things around, this whole interface can be adjusted to suit yourself. You can grab the labels, stretch them. You can move your titles in different locations, stretch them across. Okay, so you can move those. Obviously treatment is under there, so we can move it wherever we want. These are labels, okay, so be mindful of their labels, and these down below are the data fields. So this is obviously the page header band, this is the detail band, and this is the footer band. So you can even change the way that your footer looks just by moving labels around and modifying the way your report looks. So I just swap those around, and then you can go back to preview your report, click nothing, cancel, and you can see that I've shifted the page 1 of 1 and the data around. There's obviously lots of things that you can do. It's similar to the way Access database reports works. We can draw lines, we can do all sorts of things, so just be mindful that there is a lot of things in this process, and the only way to really learn is to get in there and play. Once you've created your report, you can save the report where you need to put it and then call upon it when you do your custom reports. You can save over our reports. I would suggest backing them up, putting them somewhere else, and also back up your reports as well, so then they become the default reports in the system. If we do an update, just be careful that this may get replaced. These files may get replaced, and you may need to copy back over the top of them again. It can occur. And that's pretty much reporting and how reports work. If you have any questions around reporting and how they work, please contact us at support@cadcraftsman.com. We'd be happy to help. Thanks for your time. This concludes this demonstration video. We look forward to seeing you in the next.